Shalom. We are going to talk about the Arba'a Avot Nezikin, the four main categories of Nezikin mentioned in our Mishnah. We discussed some of them already in the Pasuk, but we're going to review the four of them right now. The Avot are the main category of Nezak. These are going to be the cases that are brought up in the Torah Shebechtav, and then are organized by the Torah Sheba'al Peh. Now, there's also Toldot, which are going to be similar to the Avot, but are not exactly how they come up in the Torah Shebechtav. We're going to see both of those. We're going to start, though, with the Avot. The first Avot we're going to look at is Hashor. Hashor literally means an ox, but it refers to its other name, its nickname sort of, Haregel. It refers to any time an animal is walking around and is a little bit clumsy, like a bull in a china shop. And by its leg, it accidentally kicks something. It's walking around and it bumps into something with its body or its foot, and it breaks it. Now, it's not intentional. It just wasn't looking because it's an animal. That's not what it's going to do. The owner of the animal has to make sure that it is not walking its animal anywhere that it's going to break anything or bump into something. You don't bring a bull into a china shop. So if an animal were to break something with its body accidentally, it doesn't mean to break it. It's not getting benefit from breaking it. It's not even trying to play with it. Just accidentally broke something. That would be the Av of Hashor. The second Av is going to be Habor. Now, a bore literally means a hole. You dig a big hole in the ground. It used to be that holes were a little more common to just find lying around. People would keep water in holes. If you were digging and you needed the dirt for something to move dirt somewhere else, it left a hole. They would do certain things in holes, even some like cooking was done in holes. And if you dug a hole in a public place and you did not cover it, right? You didn't put a caution tape over it or a cone or literally a cover, a sewer cap, and somebody or something would fall in and get damaged, that would be the Av of Bor. There's certain exceptions to that, but generally speaking, if anything is damaged by a hole left in the ground, that is going to be the Av of Bor. Now, the hole is really just something that's there, right? It's not moving, it's not alive. The owner dug the hole and didn't cover it up. They were neglectful. They did not be responsible and cover it. Therefore, they created a situation that can cause nezak. That's going to be their fault if it's in a public place. A private place, we'll see, is going to be a different story. The next Av is going to be Hamaveh. It's also called Hashain. That is when an animal eats something that could be regular food, but it causes destruction. Let's say you had very, very special grass, right? Wheat. Wheat is actually grass. And somebody brought their cow into your wheat field, and the cow started eating it. Now, there's perfectly good grass for the cow to eat down the street in a different field. He chose your wheat field. Suddenly, you as a farmer, your crops are all gone. Your crops were destroyed. Or, in a more modern example, let's say somebody has a vegetable garden or a flower garden and an animal, a pet, someone else's dog, maybe even cat, is let off a leash. They come and they eat the crops, right? That animal has just eaten something that caused you damage. That was something that you wanted, something you put work into, maybe even paid for, and now it is damaged by the animal. So Shane means the tooth, right? Mava means to chew. This is referring to an animal that is chewing, causing nezek. They're eating something. They're getting benefit from it. So this is similar to Avram and Lot's story, where the shepherds were taking the sheep to different places that might have been owned by someone else. It was causing nezek. Here too, the nezek is caused by somebody's animal going into another person's property and causing damage by eating things that were not meant for the animal to eat. Hever, also called Aish, is exactly what it sounds like. It's fire. They also used to use fire in different ways. Some actually use it in farming. Some places use it today to clear parts of forests or get rid of garbage. And it can be done safely, but if it is not done safely, it can be very, very dangerous. Right? Even if you had something like a campfire and it got out of control, caused a fire. So shown there are fires sometimes in California caused by accidents. If the fire spreads, the fire goes out and it damages somebody else's property, whoever lit that fire is chayav because of the av of hever. They caused a fire to go out and cause destruction, cause nezek. Anytime somebody were to not be careful with fire, that would be the av of hever or ha'esh. That would be something that is causing nezek. That person who lit the fire and wasn't careful with it would be chayav in that case. Right? So we have these four avot, the four main categories. Those are hashor, habor, hamave, and hever. Right? Damage caused by a walking animal, regel, shor. Damage caused by something falling into a hole, bor. Damage caused by something that an animal is eating, or the animal is eating, mave, shein, and damage caused by fire, hever, or esh. Those are the avot. Those are the four cases that we find in the Torah. However, there are lots of other ways that property can do damage. And remember, right now we're only talking about when someone else's property or animal causes damage. If the person does it, or if the animal even does it intentionally, it's aggressive animal, that's not from this Mishnah. That's going to be discussed somewhere else. And these cases are the cases that Torah talks about that are going to be these four cases of nezek. But there's lots of other cases of nezek in the world, right? There's so many other ways things can get damaged, right? Things can get damaged by water. Things can get damaged by a big rock. Things can be damaged by an animal playing with something. It can be animal jumping on it, not just kicking it. So we're going to look now at some of the toldot of these avot. The toldot, remember, is a type of nezek that has similar qualities to the av. There's certain factors, there's certain things that you could describe the av that are found in the tolda, but it's not the exact same case referred to in the pasuk. It is something that has, if you made a Venn diagram, which we're going to do in the Mishnah even does, it had a lot of things that are similar to the Av, it's just not exactly the same case. It might be moving, it might be alive, it might not move, it might not be alive. It's something is similar to that Av, but it's not exactly the same. The first Tolda we're going to look at is Hashor. Hashor is going to be when an animal has to be alive, yesh bo ruach chaim, has a living spirit, is the phrase in the Mishnah, does not intend on causing nezek, and it also doesn't get benefit from it. It's just clumsy. Now, it's not clumsy in the sense of walking around and breaking something. It's clumsy, kind of like this cat, right? The cat just wants to sit up on here. He's not walking around. He doesn't even mean that to try to benefit. He's just walking, trying to hang out, and suddenly he breaks something. The breaking wasn't for the cat's benefit. Actually, the cat wound up pretty not happy when it broke. Anytime an animal does something clumsy, that's not just walking around and hitting it, it's just something else, somehow breaks it on accident and does not get benefit from it, that's going to be shor or regel. If an animal is dragging something, that could be the tolda of shor or regel. The animal sits on something, it could be shor or regel. As long as it's not trying to get benefit specifically from the action that's causing the nezek, like eating something. That would not be shor or regel. That would be mava. Bor is a type of nezek that is caused by something that is not alive. Ein bo ruach chaim. It does not have a living spirit, and it also does not move. Right? A bor, a hole, doesn't move. So, an example like this would be if you were to put something in the middle of the road And as people walk by or people drive by, it can cause damage. If you leave or plant a tree in the middle of the road, it's a bad place for a tree. If someone's driving, biking, or walking, something happens. They're not expecting a tree to be there, and they hit it, and they get damaged, they get nezek. That would be the person who planted that tree's fault. If you left a toy or really big a rock on the road, or if you're responsible for clearing the road and you left it there, and somebody were to get damaged by that thing, that would be the tolda of bor. Notice how it's not a hole, it's above the ground, but it also doesn't move, it just sits there, similar to a bore. Something like a pothole, which can cause a lot of damage to a car, would not be a tolda of bor. That would actually literally be bore. Tolda de bor is something that would be on top of the ground, does not move, but can cause damage for something running into it. A tolda of mave or shein would be any case of nezek that is caused by something that is alive. It's an animal, yesh bo ruach chaim. The animal does not intend on causing nezek. It's not aggressive, but it does get benefit. It gets hana'ah, benefit. So the classic example in Av is eating, but if the animal is also just doing something that it's fun for the animal, it feels good for the animal, not eating, that would also be the tolda of mave or shein. An example like this could be if the dog is playing with something, or if the dog is scratching something, or even if the dog goes to the bathroom and it causes nezek, those things would all be a tolda of mava and shein. The animal is getting benefit, but not by eating. It's similar to eating, but it's not exactly the same. The last tolda we'll discuss is hamaver, esh. That was a typo. It's supposed to say maver or hever, right? Hever is a type of nezek that is caused by something that is not alive, ein bo ruach chaim, but it does move. Fire spreads. Fire moves around when it is by burning, right? It doesn't just stay in one spot like a pole does. So when you light a fire and it starts spreading and it's moving, that's going to be the quality, the description that's going to match up for hever. Example like this would be if you had a Roomba, a moving vacuum, and that moving vacuum caused damage. It's moving by itself. It's not alive though, causes damage. Or if you had water floods similar to fire, and it can cause damage while moving. Or if you had a car, the car starts driving by itself and causes damage, and it's your fault or the boss' fault for doing that, that would be like a tolda of hever. We've seen these avot and we've seen these toldot. We're going to start learning how to apply them, identify them, and maybe come up with some of our own cases of avot and toldot nezikin in the coming days. So much for learning. I'll see you back in class.